Good morning and welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Friday, May 15th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps, which are trading lower this morning. We're seeing some real weakness this morning as S&Ps are off by more than 1%. We're down 1.19% this morning. So, yeah, we're definitely seeing some weakness. And part of the issue here is that the China talks has really been supporting the markets because everybody's been looking forward, and there's a lot of expectations for big deals and big announcements and big. Well, nothing really came out of it, and now the focus is shifting back to Iran and the failed Iranian peace talks. So, we're definitely going to be moving lower because of that. Trump walked away from Iran, or walked out of China without any. Okay, let's call it a few wins, but more encouraging words saying, listen, they're not gonna object to our issues that we're having in the Middle East, but they do want them end. They want the strait to remain open. They don't want to pay tolls, and that's easy to agree on. But they really want to have a grown-up relationship with the United States where they can cooperate rather than be adversaries all the time, which makes a lot of sense. But it doesn't always happen in politics. But we're moving on, and we got to start looking ahead to next week. And next week we got a whole new scope of Iranian issues that we're going to be dealing with, because that peace agreement. Hey, listen, a peace agreement remains possible. But the recent rhetoric from President Trump is rather hostile, and it's creating a source of market anxiety, and that keeps volatility pressures high. You look at tech stocks; they're lower. They remain vulnerable because when you have oil prices spiking, that spikes inflation, and that causes tech stocks to fall. And we are seeing some weakness this morning, and there could be more to come. On the economic calendar today, we got the industrial production report that's set for release, and Kevin Warsh is expected to take over as the next Fed chairman today. In corporate news, you got to talk about shares of Boeing this morning because they are weakening, down slightly. Trump announced a 200-unit plane order from China. Market expectations were higher, so that's kind of an issue. Then we got Papa John's Pizza, which is trading higher due to renewed takeover speculation. What else do we have on the corporate calendar? Kind of heavy today. We got Macy's, we got Marriott, we got ICE, NYSE, all having shareholders meetings today. On the earnings front, Figma, those shares are trading higher after their latest release, while AMAT, Applied Materials, is turning lower. On Monday, we got Baidu, BIDU, scheduled to report. NVIDIA and a host of other retailers are also scheduled to report next week. That's something to keep in mind as we head into next week. But let's take a look, and let's take a look overseas, and we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is down 1.95%, or 476 points. Weakness across the board: banking, autos, industrial sectors, all showing weakness. And FTSE, down also 1.78%. You have the same issues on mounting inflation concerns, but they also have political instability going on in London, which is causing, which is another reason why that market is down 1.78% this morning. Then you get the CAC in Paris down 1.57%. Weakness in financials and luxury stocks. We're turning looking at Asia last night. You look at the Nikkei; it dropped 1,244 points, or 1.99%. It's really fueled by inflation concerns, which is pressuring tech stocks. As oil prices tick higher. Also, want to point out that they're under an earthquake watch over there in Japan right now. The sirens just went off. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng finished lower by 426 points. That's 1.62%. Weakness came in financials and tech stocks. Shanghai and China finished lower by 1.02%. Listen, the summit end, with very few major breakthroughs, but they're stabilizing relations. They're expanding cooperation. They're trying to, work together constructively. And, without the major breakthroughs, you're seeing a little bit of pullback, but, it's not too bad. It's only 1.20%. Oil, on the other hand, oil was up over 4% this morning. It is now pulled back, and you got WTI is up 3.39% to 104.60. Brent is trading at 108.37, up 2.51%. I mean, the latest leg higher really comes as the watered-down peace proposal, which is unsatisfactory to both sides. But President Trump is out there and he's got some pretty hostile rhetoric, and he's growing frustrated, and he could, resume military strikes on Iran, and that's what the market is worried of, and that's why you're seeing oil prices tick higher. I shouldn't say tick; they're up more than 2.5%. Doesn't need to be. Okay, let's move our attention. We're going to take a look at earnings action right now. We got to start off with AMAT, Apple Michael, Apple Tom. I mean, listen, the stock's down 1.94%. It was higher initially after earnings because they did come and deliver a beat. They beat by 18 cents. They did it on higher revenue. Report wasn't bad, but it's pulling back down with most of the rest of the FIG, with the tech sector. But then we're looking at Figma, ticker FIG, which is up 9.04% after beating by 4 cents on higher revenue. Yes, that was my pick of the day yesterday, Figma, FIG. Upcoming, we got Baidu coming out, EPS $1.87, expect to move 9.82%. In terms of economic reports this morning, we get the Empire State Manufacturing Index at 8:30. Industrial production, that's the key one. That's coming out at 9:15 a.m. And at 1 p.m. you get the Baker Hughes rig count. In terms of FANG stock news, Apple's cultivating Intel to become a long-term key supplier, according to one analyst out there. Google is planning a new release of its Gemini model. Netflix is building an AI animation studio. Makes a lot of sense. They like to build their own content. SpaceX, that prospective could be available as early as next week on their IPO. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, we want to start off with NVIDIA. Trump says that NVIDIA chip sales didn't come up in the meeting with China. Okay. In terms of Boeing, China agreed to buy 200 planes. Market was expecting a plane order of 500, but Trump's out there tweeting that they're still talking about additional orders up to 750 planes. So I don't know if that's true or not, but he's saying 750, but we know the number is 200. But potential commitment of 750 would really do well for shares of Boeing, ticker BA. Got Walmart out there displaying gains this morning. Stocks up, stocks up nicely there. Remember, their earnings are coming out next week. In terms of merger news, Genco Shipping, they rejected Diana Shipping's 23.5 per share tender offer. In terms of guidance news, AMAT, they see Q3 EPS coming in 336 plus or minus 20 cents. Street estimates 290, so that's an uptick. Figma sees Q2 revenue 348 to 350 million. Street estimates 329. That's a big uptick. In terms of shareholders meetings, Macy's, Marriott International, Intercontinental Exchange, they're all having shareholders meetings today. In terms of buyback news, Wex.com, ticker WEX, their board authorized a 1 billion share buyback. Okay, now we're moving on to a pick of the day. I'm just going to go with Baidu. I don't love it. It doesn't hit all my data points, but there's a lack of earnings for Monday. But earnings are due up Monday morning. EPS is $1.87. Expect moves 9.82. Call volume on Thursday was 25,500 versus put volume was 6,600. So that's very positive. Open interest is 224K versus 139K. That's very positive. But the major brokers don't follow it. And that's kind of a problem for me. So, the stock is trading weaker this morning. I mean, where do I see it trading at? It's down 3.96% already, to 137.5 to 137.84. But I'll get in if it slides to 135. So that's my entry price. I'm saying 135 on Baidu, ticker BIDU. Then that's my pick of the day. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about the stocks that are hitting the tape with news this morning. See what we got, anything new in the last 15 minutes or so. The Container Store, Bed Bath & Beyond, launched co-branded retail location. Interesting. Getty Images, they're getting UK clearance for their merger with Shutterstock. Japan issues emergency earthquake warning. No tsunami warning, though. Trump, if we don't get Iran nuclear dust, will go in. Says he's going to be making a decision over the next 2 days on lifting sanctions on Chinese oil. Microsoft's trading higher. Bill Ackman, Pershing Square, says he'll soon disclose a new Microsoft position. Be careful of that guy. DXCM, David X-Ray Charlie Michael Dexcom, they're collaborating with with Elliott Management, and they named 2 new board members. So yeah, that stock's going to start moving again. Applied Materials up 5% last night before it turned lower. Wow. IBKR is introducing yes-no calls on predictive markets on their platforms. Shouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying. Okay, now we're moving on to yesterday's pick of the day, which was Figma, ticker FIG, Frank India Grace. I mean, look at the numbers yesterday. Stock opened at 1985, then fell down to 1905 before it recovered, and then it recovered big, hitting a high of $20.45 before closing at $20.24. And then you look at Figma this morning, FIG, Frank India Grace. The stock's just showing some nice strong gains. I mean, it's already hit a high of 23, but right now you look at it, it's trading around $22. So yeah, Figma, FIG was a definite winner yesterday. Whether you get into the opening price or my entry price, I mean, either way, Figma was a nice green trade. All right, traders, you guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some more green.